Welcome to Evidence-Based Audio Engineering and Education number 128, and this one is, do the Beach Boys even auto-tune? And I suppose you used to say bro at the end of that, but I don't know. It's going to be short. I didn't have too much. I'm kind of wiped out from kind of a crazy week, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, Reaper 6.34 is out. You can go read the release notes. One of them was for the Master VU, clear loudness meter when clearing peaks, even for background projects. That's kind of interesting. I know this is something that comes up every once in a while. Faster loudness meter response when preference enabled to reset meters on play and seek. In the metadata, there's an add parts category. I'm not sure which one that's going to come up in the renders or the batch converter. Support embedding ID3 TPOS field. I'm not too sure what that does. And there's some improvements to Razor Edit. I'm still not using much of Razor Edit. I need to learn more. I mean, there's so much in Reaper that, I don't even know. So what do I got going on here? So this week I switched to 48K, 48 kilohertz. So I'm going to see how this works out. I may have some trouble uploading stuff. I may have some trouble recording stuff. It looks like Reaper's running okay. I had some hiccups at the very beginning. And way back in the day, back in the 90s, if we were running digital, we were running at 48K for the most part. I started doing 96K, I think, was it 2001? Yeah, 2001. Started doing 96K and quickly went right back to 48K. And once I really started working a lot, I wasn't really seeing an upside to 48K, so I went back to 44 and everything was cool. I think YouTube still has their format as 44K to upload with, so we'll see how this works. But there's other things going on. Like last week I talked about, I think that I'd finally got myself a Helix, and to do the impulses, you had to switch to 48K, and I'm just there. I switched the computer in this main control room and the computer in the teaching room. We've talked about several times before, my system follows a word clock, and so I just switched that word clock to 48K. I'm running RME. RME Digiface USB inside here, so it's just following everything. I could probably show that to you if on Instagram and TikTok. But so far so good. I mean, you're gonna have a tiny bit less latency, maybe a slightly longer low pass filter. There's some audio benefits to some degree, and probably not that big of a processor hit compared to some of the other things you could do. We'll see how this works out. I think it's just kind of getting to the point where it's just easier to deal with so much stuff at 48K. And if it wasn't for this whole word clock situation, I could switch this pretty easy. I mean, I still can. I can go out there and switch the clock or whatever, but whatever. I'm at 48K for now. We'll see. So, I'm always talking about ergonomics and, having things ready to go at all times. Like if you go out and look in our studio room, you'll see all the drums are mic'd up. They're ready. I could get a whole band recording in about 5 minutes out there. Unless they're super picky about stuff that probably doesn't matter, then there could be a problem. But everything is ready to go all the time. And part of that is I don't like cables hanging everywhere, even though there's cables everywhere out there, and it kills me. But for making this pedal board for the Helix, just assuming that I'll ever play any place real. Maybe even if I just play out front of our own place. I don't want to plug in too many more cables than I have to. And especially, that goes for power, that goes for all the audio, that goes for everything. So it was nice to find that there was a company that made some patch panels that you could put your outputs on. I think I talked about it before. These things don't have phantom blockers, or phantom power supposedly hurts the sound, possibly the unit. Developer said it won't hurt the unit, but it could hurt the sound. And so I had to put phantom blockers on the outputs. Come on, line 6, you can do better than that. But anyway, there's a patch panel that has my XLRs, one for the PA system where the volume knob doesn't affect, one for my personal monitoring, my FRFR, which the volume knob does affect, and one that goes out to a guitar amp that I'm not sure if the volume knob affects it or not. I actually have to look at that. Oh, that's interesting. I need to think about that. It may not. I may have to do this a different way. But I really got to think about this. Okay, so aside from that, one of the ones that really bugs me, you know, I was able to tie up all the internal cabling pretty well. But what I don't like is the power. So I'm running a wall wart to my line 6 G30 relay wireless receiver, and so I had to build the wall wart eliminator cable, and I plugged that into a power strip. I put the power strip on the underside of the pedal board. It's pretty nice looking from the top, and it is pretty self-contained. It's pretty zip tied up and contained well, but I like those power supplies that you see bolted to the board where you got a panel coming in and then all your little DC supplies go out. But I only have that one thing that needs a DC, 9-volt DC. That's the relay. The other electrical device I have on there is the Helix itself, which needs a regular AC cord, IEC cord. And I only found one, the Rocktron Voodoo Labs Power Plus, I think it's called. It's an old power supply thing, but they make brackets for it and everything. Goes right into my pedal board. It is a toroidal transformer, so I worry about the hum there being so close to everything else. And I don't want to pay a whole pile of money just to have one 9-volt outlet that I need. And the other thing is the AC outlet is on the front, so I'd be running a cable over the top of the loop. I don't know. It's still probably pretty nice, but man, if you guys know a better power solution that's got a 9-volt out and a regular IEC cable out, or just electrical cable out, AC cable out, let me know. There was some talk at the Line 6 forums about making a 9-volt mod, possibly to send 9 volts out from the Variax input. Probably void your warranty, but you know, I'd like to know if somebody figures that out. But anyway, you know, right now I'm running an extension cord. I guess I can coil it up underneath the cable. I'm being so finicky, man, because I mean, any of this stuff is just so quick to set up compared to what we used to have to set up. So I don't know what I'm complaining about. Let's see. While I was trying to figure out how I'm going to Velcro these things together, especially because of the big rubber feet sticking out of the wahs and the Helix itself, I met 3M Dual Lock for the first time, and holy crap, that's some amazing stuff. And you know, it's mostly not available locally here, but there was a thing called Scotch. Here it is, right here. Scotch. It just says Scotch Extremely Strong fasteners, and it holds up to 10 pounds. I'm not sure which one this is, but it actually has 3M Dual Lock inside of it. It's not the low profile kind, I don't think. But there's different types. There's 250, 170, and 400. I don't know which ones you guys use on the pedal boards, but the one that isn't low profile, it sticks up so high that it cleared the rubber feet on one of the things. So that may be what I'm gonna end up using. But let's see. There's some, you know, the Amazon search really sucks. You know, we talked about how bad Google search is working lately, but it's so hard to specifically find the thing you're looking for on Amazon. I wanted to find a bunch of right angle plugs, especially stereo ones. I thought the expression pedals used TRS plugs, but they actually just use TS, so that's simpler. But you know, I'd like 90-degree plugs on most of the stuff back there to really clean it up. And man, it was hard finding specific ones. It kept coming up with this really chintzy crap. And with this 3M Dual Lock, I ended up actually ordering 10 feet of the wrong type, you know, because I just couldn't find the right one on Amazon. I think I got the right type coming now. But what is it? Let me know what you guys are using. I'd love to see some 2-inch versions, but I'm just finding 1-inch spools. But let me know. I'd like to know about the 3M Dual Lock. And, as we've talked about many times, you pedal people are nuts. But I'm starting to think they're nuttier than audiophiles. They have all these ancient pieces of junk wired together. And there's like an endless obsession of Viscontier pretending like they can actually hear the tiny differences between these things, like this transistor and that transistor. I'm sure there's cases where you can, but holy crap, how many billion different versions of the same pedal are people going to make and charge crazy money for? And you guys will just keep buying it and sticking it into this pedal. I know you guys think you can ABX out the superior analog pedals from these multi-effects units where you just press a button and you reorder all your pedals and everything, but you guys are nuts. I don't know. I'm having to read through your stuff because there is information in there that I need, and man, it's some freaky stuff. I really like this. This is a Behringer CT100. I have an old Whirlwind, I think it was, Cable Doctor. It's like this thing. It's got a battery in it, but it doesn't make any test tones or anything. But I've had that thing since the 90s, and that has been invaluable. I love that piece, but it's getting old. And this one has an intermittent switch setting thing here, which is really cool. So you can wiggle the cable. Like I always make the kids wiggle the cable and see if the lights go out on the Cable Doctor. This one will keep lights on if the connector went bad, which is really handy. It also has MIDI, RCA, and TT. I'll probably never see another TT jack again. And 1/8 inch on this side. And there's a newer one that has some other stuff. But one of the things that's really cool here, and this thing was cheap, man. I mean, I think it was like less. It might have been $30 or less. It has a test tone, so -50, -10 dBV, and +4 dBu. That is handy. That is really handy. This is really actually handy for the Helix. I just plug this in and click it and do some level checks. But man, I really like that thing. It's some of the best bang for the buck in the studio here is that thing and a soldering iron. And let's see. So Voxengo made this new thing called I still don't know. Is it Voxengo or Voxengo? I used to talk to Alexi, the designer here, a lot back in the early VST days. I haven't talked to him much lately, but this thing, it's saying Peak Buster. It's called Peak Buster, and you'll see he's got new kind of a new GUI look. Pretty nice actually. I like it. Peak Buster is an attack phase boosting and harmonic enhancement plugin for professional music and sound production applications. Peak Buster is a multi-band transient enhancer effect plugin that uses an advanced automatic algorithm. Peak Buster stands out from the competition in its ability to always sound natural, even on full spectrum master bus. The strength of the effect depends on the material being processed. The algorithm masterfully analyzes the dynamics of the sound it processes and applies boosting in quantities that are exactly right. I have no idea how this thing works. I'm going to download the demo later on. I'm never disappointed by this guy's stuff. It's always, I think last week we were talking about making impulse responses, and it's his deconvolver that I still use. So I don't know what this thing actually does. And what does it cost? On sale 15% off. Let's see what this costs here. $50. So, I don't know exactly what this thing does. It's kind of vague to me. I'd like to get some attack phase boosting and harmonic enhancement plugin. We'll see what that is. But while I was reading about this, people kept talking about this other thing that I didn't know about. It's called TEOTE, and that stands for That's Easier on the Ear. And this one says automatic in-track equalizing, contemporary music mastering, equalizing guide, and I guess this is some sort of auto EQ for something. So that sounds interesting. Kind of like to try that too. What does this one cost? This one costs. I got to click the right thing. Oh. $80. or it's $12 off right now. This is interesting. Like I say, I never got anything bad from these guys, but you know, I do use Span, but I'm not very good at it. And now I see that he has Span Plus, which says Span Plus is a real-time fast Fourier transform audio spectrum analyzer plugin for professional music and audio production. It's an extended version of the freeware Span plugin. Span Plus provides several additional features such as ping file export, real-time spectrum import export for cross-track spectrum comparisons, static spectrums display, and a wide display mode. So I might go and look into this. Now what is see, I just get poor every time I look at this. Span Plus. Span Plus is $44 normally. There's a 15% off right now. Yeah, I need to learn Span better. But here was my favorite part of the day, and I'm sorry, this is just a very short day. I'm probably just going to go home and go to sleep, honestly. Sorry. Actually, let me check something real quick. I don't trust. Let's just see here. Yeah, everything is... Why is everything offline? Nice. It's saying I'm online, and then it's saying my destinations are... Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry. Let me just check this real quick. Yeah, okay. No, we're good. Can you hear it, though? That would be interesting. Yep. Okay, perfect. So, there's a question over at Quora. Do the Beach Boys use autotune on their recordings? So that is awesome, man. Like, autotune's been around so long now that people probably think we've had it for forever. I definitely remember when it was coming out, and we were like, oh, is this actually going to work? And how are you going to use that with your tape recorder and stuff, you know? Computer music was really just kind of coming out, or computer DAWs anyway. But I like this guy's answer. Please stop using the name autotune. It's a brand name, not a tool. That aside, in the same way instruments and vocals have their tone, quality, and timing corrected to enhance the recording, sometimes the phonemes and pitch and vibrato of a vocal are tweaked using digital pitch adjustment and editing. The Beach Boys didn't use it in the 60s and 70s because it hadn't been invented. Instead, musicians had to pay for the studio time required to re-record a less than perfect vocal many times until they either had one perfect take or enough perfect sections to edit together for a perfect take. Tuning tools are not cheating. They're just tools like tone controls and reverb plates and tape echo to make things sound perfect and to save money. So I'll leave you with that. Next week I'll have a lot more. I got some things in the work, and actually for you guys that are AIX DSP customers, next week we should have some final versions of dynamic EQ and the multiband gate update, hopefully drum EQs update, and a pretty big update to Intuition, but not as big as will be on its way. But with all that, I'll see you guys later, and I'll see you next week. See you. Goodbye, Instagram. And goodbye, TikTok. Okay, welcome to Evidence-Based Audio Engineering and Education number 128, and this one is to the Beach Boys. Goodbye, Instagram, and goodbye.